Well, in a week and a day, we're going to celebrate Christmas. Is that right? Is it already that late? Let's see. Today's the 17th. Yeah, a week and a day. Time flies. And you might like this holiday. Some people don't. Some people feel as though they're alone, or they're reminded of their material lack. But you know, there's somebody who will never leave you or forsake you. He's with you right now. Your attention just isn't in his presence. And as far as lack, your Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, every single rock and tree, and every single cell of your body and the whole universe. And once you take your eyes off of what you think you do or don't have and put your attention upon him and upon his presence that is dwelling with you, I think that feeling of lack will quickly fade away, and you will realize just how incredible and incredibly wealthy you really are. And in this season, we can celebrate our oneness with him, our unity with him, and the gift of his life that he gave and is now giving just for me and for you. Amen. Well, pardon me. Today, I would like for us to read the 121st chapter of Psalm. And I realize that my wife, Mariposa, or if you know her in real life, Jennifer, read this, 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks? But the day that she read it, I actually didn't know what she was going to read. And I had started preparing what I'm going to deliver to you today. And she didn't know that it was Psalm chapter 121. And that's what she read. So, and I felt as though today I should continue and go ahead and present this. So maybe God just wants us to hear it again. Or maybe it's just my mind's idea. But I believe God's going to speak to us today if we just have listening ears and listen for what his Spirit is saying to each and every one of us. So let's read this. Psalm chapter 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. So first, the psalmist paints a picture of a person in need who is looking to the hills, asking himself, from where does my help come? And the answer is simple yet true. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, the maker of these hills. The hills and the mountains are tall and majestic, and they are why the valleys seem so deep to us. The oceans are daunting, and they have swallowed large, strong vessels whole, and we cannot imagine the depths thereof. The skies are high, seem endless, and beyond them lies a universe in which we are a tiny, invisible speck. And yet, all of this is so much less than the one who created it. Who made the mountains and the hills? Who made the oceans and the seas? Who made the vast, uncharted universe? He is the same one who made you, who knit you together in your mother's womb. He is the same one who knows your every thought, your every feeling, your every fear, your every trouble, your every dream and desire. And he is the same one who willingly clothed himself in flesh so that he could suffer unspeakable torture and then die for you and for me. And all of this was so he could have a deep, personal, intimate love relationship with you. Let's read on a little more. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Isn't it amazing to think that not only is God aware of everything at all times, but he never sleeps. He does not doze off in the middle of the night. And when you have nightmares, he sees them. When you toss and turn longing for someone to hold you, he feels your heartache and your pain. But he wants you to know today that he is with you. He is watching over you, dwelling within you, sharing that vessel of clay, your body. And you may not know in this lifetime from how many things he has saved you and how much good he has brought to you, even through the things that you think were bad. Most of all, he is guarding over your soul, and he is the one who brought you here today to hear the voice of his speaking, his words of love. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. No matter how things appear, no matter what harm we think is befalling us, the Lord is watching over us. And as we abide in his shadow, walking in his spirit, and depending completely upon and trusting completely upon him, we can know that no real harm can come to us. Our bodies will grow old. We may at times become ill. We may have tragedies strike. Accidents or attacks may change our lives. But we can know that as we dwell in his peace with the Prince of Peace, the real me, the real you, will be safe and secure, awaiting eternity with him even as we rest in that eternity in this eternal present moment. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. In closing, I'd like to read over this passage one more time. But this time around, I'd like for us to slow down and take our time with it. And as we do, I encourage you to meditate upon each line and just let the Lord speak to you and sing over you and hold you in his arms of love today. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let my foot slip. He who watches over me will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over me. The Lord is my shade at my right hand. The sun will not harm me by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep me from all harm. He will watch over my life. The Lord will watch over my coming and the Lord will watch over my going. Both now and forevermore. Amen. This altar is open, and you're invited to get out of your seat right now and make your way to the front. And we're just going to spend some time here, letting whatever God spoke to you sink in. And if you'd like somebody to talk or pray with you, you are invited to instant message one of us. And if you can stay until after this time at the altar, you're invited to, when you're done here, make your way up the steps to your left, and we're going to meet over there in just a few minutes to hang out and just fellowship for a while. And if you feel the call of God, whether you're here or you're listening later in the week or outside of Second Life, just answer that call. just surrender to Him. And in this moment, rest in His arms of love. Lord God, we thank You for speaking to us today. We thank You for loving us so much, for watching over us, for giving us everything we need, and for holding us forever in Your eternal and perfect embrace. And I ask that nothing You've planted here today would be stolen away, but it would go into deep soil. It would take root. It would be watered, and it would grow deep roots as we are drawn ever closer with You. We ask these things in Jesus' beautiful name.